So, I grew up with Pokemon. I remember waking up in the mornings before primary school, eating my breakfast cereal in front of the TV, watching the first season of the anime on Sky One, with that stupid catchy intro song, singing along, hoping one day that Pokemon would be real. Then after watching a couple episodes, one day my mum brought back Pokemon Red. This changed everything. I got to explore the Kanto region, catching my favourite Pokemon, collecting badges. This is everything I had wanted. Minus Pokemon being real, of course. But I remember sitting outside the curb, trying to beat the Elite Four for the first time, having a crowd of kids around me, like some of my friends, some kids I didn't even know, all because they didn't have a Game Boy or did not have Pokemon, and they're all watching me on this tiny little screen with no backlight, in this little curb. It was absolutely nuts. And thinking back on these memories, it inspired me to make this list of the top 10 Pokemon from the Kanto region. Number 10, we have Sandslash. Every time I hear Sandslash as a mouse, I laugh. Apart from the face, I don't see the resemblance at all. To me, he looks more like a hedgehog. Maybe it's because of the spikes on his back, or maybe it's because it has something to do with me being a massive Sonic the Hedgehog fan when I was little, and I thought they kind of looked similar. Right. Yeah, okay, little Voltsy. Anyway, Sandslash is a badass looking Pokemon. To me, easily with the best looking ground type in Kanto. Sandslash's primary weapons are its claws, and those things look sharp as a very sharp knife. Yep. The problem with Sandslash is in Generation 1, he didn't learn any great moves at all, with Slash being the strongest and best move it learns leveling up. Slash. Sandslash. Ah, see what I did there? That was awful. Just awful. Nowadays, Sandslash learns some pretty decent moves like Earthquake and Swords Dance. I definitely think Sandslash is deserving of this list. He is such an awesome looking Pokemon, learns some decent moves now. He totally fits in for what a ground type should be. To me, Sandslash is the best pure ground type in Kanto, and that's why he's number 10. Also, I think Sandslash would totally fit in as a Pokémon fighter, just saying. Number 9, we have Ninetales. How can you not like Ninetales? I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous! It looks like a better version of Tails. Plus 7 tails. It also even looks better shiny, look at it! It looks gorgeous! Looks aside, Ninetales is actually a pretty decent Pokemon, can learn a great variety of moves. Although its stats aren't the greatest out there, I still love to use it from time to time. Ninetales is one of the main reasons I begged my mum to get me Blue version. Vulpix was actually exclusive to Pokemon Blue at the time, and being the only kid in my street who had a Game Boy and Pokemon game, I had 0% chance of getting that amazing looking Pokemon. So once I got Blue, had to use my friend's Game Boy, get the link cables and trade myself just to get that Vulpix because it just looks so good and I loved using it. At number 8, we have Nidoking. To me, Nidoking is one of the strongest, most intimidating looking Pokemon in Kanto. The only Pokemon I would say that looks as intimidating as Nidoking is Gyarados. But I think Nidoking's better than Gyarados, so that's why Gyarados, get out of here, it's all about Nidoking. Nidoking just looks so bulky, those arms, the tail, the horn on his head. Nidoking is something I would not want to anger. I remember my first ever pack of Pokemon cards, I got a Nidoking, and that was the point I thought he looked so powerful. This is where he became my favourite Pokemon for a while. Although not actually being the strongest Pokemon out there despite its looks, I quite like his typing. Him and Nidoqueen are the only Pokemon to have a poison and ground type, which I think is pretty cool considering it's nearly 20 years later and not another Pokemon has shared this type. So because of its types and look, I 100% think Nidoking deserves a spot on this list because he is such an awesome Pokemon and a bit underused in my opinion. I think he needs to be out there a little bit more. At number 7, I have Butterfree, and no, it's not because of that scarf. Although it's a pretty cool scarf. No, I think Butterfree deserves a spot on this list because it's a pretty decent Pokemon to start the game with. You can get one very early on, even before the first gym in Kanto. The reason I think it's a decent Pokemon is by level 12, it could have the moveset Confusion, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, and Sleep Powder. And early on, that is actually a really good moveset to be able to catch Pokemon, weaken some stuff. It's actually pretty decent. Although back during Red and Blue days, you wouldn't get that by level 17. Butterfree is one of the only bug Pokemon I actually like, and by far my favourite out of the Kanto region, and that is why Butterfree deserves a spot on this list. So for number 6, I have Venusaur. Venusaur, or what I like to call it, Dino Tank, because he looks like a dinosaur and a tank. Yep. Dino Tank is an awesome looking Pokemon. That giant flower on its back just looks so cool and adds so much to its design. Have you seen a Venusaur with its bulb closed? Because it looks like this. Ah, scary, right? Venusaur's Mega Evolution, although it's pretty bland, just adding a few extra flowers, I still actually quite like it. I'm glad they didn't overdo it because Venusaur to me looks pretty great. I kind of like the big flower on its back, and if they change it dramatically, I don't think I would like Venusaur as much because I think how Venusaur looks right now, he just looks pretty awesome, and with the bigger flower and the little flower on his forehead in the Mega Evolution, I just think that suits him so much better, and I think people don't give it enough credit just because it doesn't look dramatically different compared to other Pokemon. I mean, look at Blastoise. Everyone loves that, and all it does is gain one giant cannon on its back and cannon for arms. I mean, that's pretty cool, but I think Venusaur got more of a design than Blastoise, to be fair. But Mega Venusaur gains the ability Thick Fat, and Venusaur is quite a bulky Pokemon as it is, so that is why I think Venusaur deserves number 6 spot. At number 5, I have Gengar. Now this is quite an easy choice considering the Gengar evolution line is the only ghost types in the Kanto region, and to me, Gengar is probably one of the best ghost types in the whole series, so having him on this list is definitely the right choice in my opinion. At number 4, I have Dragonite, one of the coolest dragon Pokemon in the game, which deserves a Mega. Hey Game Freak, you should totally get on that. So when the kids around me finally got red, blue and yellow, every single one of them, including myself, we all had Dragonites on the team because the Pokemon is just that good. Not only does it look great apart from those tiny wings, which, what's up with that? Dragonite has a great ability, great movesets and stats. Without a doubt, Dragonite deserves a number 4 spot on this because, you know, I'm pretty sure at some point, everyone has used a Dragonite playing through red, blue or yellow. Every time they visit the Kanto region, I guarantee someone has had a Dragonite because it's such a great Pokemon. Number 3, we have Charizard. It's so good it got 2 Megas. But hey, I ain't complaining. Charizard has always been my favourite Kanto starter. He was the first Pokemon I ever used in the series. The reason I think Charizard deserves a number 3 spot is because there are 3 different ways to use him. We can have him as a standard Charizard, a Mega Charizard Y, or a Mega Charizard X, and the best part is I think all 3 ways of using him is absolutely great. It's such a fantastic Pokemon to have on the team. Every time I see Charizard, I think back to Ash's Charizard and how loyal it is. Well, it wasn't always like that. Charizard is such an iconic Pokemon. I don't want to sound cheesy and say it deserves a spot on this list just because it's kind of like you see Charizard, you sometimes think of Kanto. I chose Charizard because it's such a great Pokemon. At number 2, we have Mewtwo. There are so many different things I love about Mewtwo. I remember when I first saw him, apart from the opening of course, he was in that battle armor in Giovanni's control, wrecking Gary, and I always thought he looked so cool and powerful then, I always wanted one. He has such an awesome backstory, and every time I hear it, it gives me feels. I mean, I just feel bad for Mewtwo. He's gone through such a hard time, but it really sets up the story for such a great film. Mewtwo has 2 Mega Evolutions, Y, which I think looks absolutely incredible, and X, I'm not a fan of X, don't think that looks pretty cool, but the Mega Evolution makes an already powerful Pokemon even more powerful, and I don't think there's a better time than on Pokemon Red and Blue. You find that guy at the cave, he's blocking the cave, you can't go in there, you beat the Elite Four, you become champion, and your first time you go through that cave, go through this really powerful cave, or tough cave with powerful Pokemon in it, you get to the end and he's just standing there, the powerfulest Pokemon in the game. To me, Mewtwo is always gonna be and will be the strongest Pokemon in the game. I don't care stat wise or if like Arceus, you know, the god of Pokemon. To me, Mewtwo is always gonna be the strongest. I don't care what anyone says, but just why this is why Mewtwo deserves a spot on this list. And also, how cool does Shadow Mewtwo look? So my number 1 Pokemon from the Kanto region, being my favourite Kanto Pokemon and man's best friend, it is Arcanine. So why is it number 1, you may ask? Well, to me, Arcanine is the best looking Kanto Pokemon. Its design is absolutely insane. It's a giant dog that looks so cuddly. I'm a dog person, and if I could have any dog, it would definitely be an Arcanine. When I move out and get my own place, I am definitely getting a dog, and I'm going to call it Arcanine. Might be a little bit weird, because it might sound a bit intimidating to people, but Arcanine? How can you not love Arcanine? I feel like it's the type of dog that would love you so much and love to have its belly rubbed, but when you need protecting, it'll be full guard mode. Arcanine can learn some great moves like Flare Blitz and Extreme Speed, and let's be honest, who wouldn't want to ride an Arcanine? Arcanine is the coolest looking Pokemon. I've always loved one because Gary had one, and if I got a friend into the Kanto region and had to start my journey with any one Kanto Pokemon, it would be a Growlithe to get an Arcanine because Arcanine is just so badass. Well, there you have it. That is my top 10 Kanto Pokemon. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' top 10. As always, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. I will see you next time. Peace.